Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our online lecture. Today, we will try to complete the lesson development. It is for the CBSE students. Yesterday, we had at last seen activity 2 and we were doing public facilities. Today, we will start with the next topic, that is activity 3. One way to find out if we are properly nourished means we are healthy or not, we are taking good food or not, is to calculate what nutrition scientists call body mass index, that is BMI, body mass index. This is easy to calculate. Let each student in the class find out his or her weight and height. All can measure weight and height themselves. Take the weight of each student in kilograms, measure each student's weight in kilograms, then take the height by drawing up a scale on the wall. Inch tape can be used, and measuring accurately with the head straight. Head should be straight, so height can be measured perfectly. Convert the height recorded in centimeters into meters. Now, if you have already calculated in meters, then convert the meters, then no need. But if you have calculated in centimeters, you have to calculate or convert it into meters. Divide the weight in kilogram by the square of the height. The height which is in meters, you have to do its square and then divide it by the weight. Number you get is called BMI, that is body mass index. Then look at the BMI for age tables given on pages 90 and 91. In the textbook on page 90-91 you will be given the BMI. Even if when you go to doctors, especially to pediatricians, child specialists, you get BMI there. This height and weight is taken, BMI is given, chart is drawn. A student's BMI could be within the normal range or less than that. It could be, as mentioned, in the range, it could be below than the range. That is underweight or more obesity. It could be underweight means less than required weight, or obesity means fat, means the stomach is out. For example, if a girl student is 14 years and 8 months old and the BMI is 15.2, then she is undernourished. So this is what is given in that table on page 1991 BMI table. A 14 years and 8-month old girl, her weight 15.2, then she is undernourished, means she should have more weight. Similarly, if the BMI of a boy aged 15 years and 6 months is 28, then he is overweight. So 28 weight for 15 years and 6 months old boy is overweight, that is obese, means જાડો છે. Discuss the life situation, food and exercise habits of students in general without body shaming anyone. No need to comment whether thin or fat, but you have to discuss this eating habits in general, how they take food, exercise, life situation, etc. of each and every one. It is just like a group discussion. Now, human development report. Once it is realized that even though the level of income is important, that we have already seen, but only income is not important. There are many things in life which are important in economics, yet it is an inadequate measure of the level of development. Only high income, more money cannot be told that a person is developed or he is having good development. We begin to think of other criteria there we have to look after. There could be a long list of such criterion. There can be many things to consider apart from income, but then it would not be so useful. What we need is a small number of the most important things. Only the things which are most related, most important should be considered. Health and education indicators. In fact, we should have income, health and education indicators such as the ones we used in comparison in the previous lecture of Kerala and Haryana and Bihar are among them. Over the past decade means 10 years or so, health and education indicators have come to be widely used along with income as a measure of development. So, for development, not only income but health and education are also important factors. For instance, for example, Human Development Report published by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, compares countries based on the educational levels of the people, their health status, and per capita income. So, Human Development Report is prepared by all these three factors by the UNDP. It will be interesting to look at certain relevant data regarding India and its neighbors from Human Development Report 2018. So let us see the report now. What does the report say? Table 1.6. Some data regarding India and its neighbors for 2017. Now country is given. Some terms are there: gross national income per capita, then life expectancy at birth, then mean years of schooling of people aged 25, and mean means average, and human development index rank in the world according to these factors. This source is from Human Development Report 2018, UNDP, United Nations Development Program, New York. Notes. Let us see the notes first. HDI stands for the Human Development Index. HDI ranks in above table are out of 189 countries in all. So this data is prepared for 189 countries in all. From among them, 6 are given here. I think they are mostly Asian countries. Second, life expectancy at birth denotes. What is life expectancy at birth? How many years? As the name suggests, average expected length of life of a person at the time of birth. When a person is born or when a child is born, how many years he is going to live? That is expectancy of life. Third, per capita income. Already you have discussed this. We have discussed this term is calculated in dollars as it is international level. All are studying, so a standard level is taken in dollars for all countries so that it can be compared. It is also done in a way so that every dollar would be buy the same amount of goods and services in any country. So it is a standard thing taken. Rupees it is for only India, but dollars it is acceptable at international level. So that is the standard fixed, while calculations dollar USD is used or US dollars. Now we can see the report. Sri Lanka, the gross national income is per person, we can say per capita, $11,236. Life expectancy 75.5 years. Mean years of schooling 10.9. HDI rank is 76. India, per income per capita income is $6,353 dollars. Life expectancy 68.8. Mean years of schooling only 6.4, and HDI rank is 130 among the 189 countries. Likewise, Myanmar, Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh, their data is given. You can go through the data. Isn't it surprising that a small country in our neighborhood, we are talking about Sri Lanka, is much ahead of India in every respect? Life expectancy is good. Then what is there? Their per capita income is good. School level or mean years, average years of school are good, and its rank is also 76. So in each aspect, each criteria, we can say it is ahead of India. India is a very big country, hugely populated and very talented, but Sri Lanka is above in all the levels. Such a low rank in the world our India has. Table 1.6 also shows that though Nepal and Bangladesh have low per capita income than that of India, yet they are better than India in life expectancy. The life expectancy rate is good in even Nepal and Bangladesh. Many improvements have been suggested in calculating HDI, and many new components have been added to the Human Development Report. But by prefixing human to the development, it has made it very clear that what is important in development is what is happening to citizens of a country. It is people, their health, their well-being, that is the most important. Do you think there are certain other aspects that should be considered in measuring human development? કયા એવા પોઈન્ટ્સ જે આપણે હ્યુમન ડેવલપમેન્ટ કાઉન્ટ કરવા માટે આનામાં ઉમેરી શકીએ છીએ એ તમે પોતાની રીતે લખી શકો છો. Now sustainability. What is sustainability? Means to go further or for long years, durability we can say. Suppose for the present that a particular country is quite developed, we would certainly like this level of development to go further or at least be maintained for future generations. What is there today, resources are there, whatever facilities are there, good things are there, they should remain for future generations, for the future. That is known as sustainability. This is obviously desirable, it is needed. However, since the second half of the 20th century, a number of scientists have been warning that the present type and levels of development are not sustainable. So this is an alert or warning we can say that present type of levels of development are not sustainable. They may not sustain, they may not be available for the future generations. And one quote is given, very good quote: we have not inherited the world from our forefathers, we have borrowed it from our children. So this world, it is not given to us from our forefathers. Why it is told like that? Because here is the point of sustainability, that we have already used. Now it is turned to keep some things safe, that same development should be there or the resources should be available for the future generations. That is why it is told that we have borrowed it from our children. So we have to keep the things or development or resources safe for our children also to use. Water is there, electricity is there, fuel is there, environment problems are there. So if the problems continue, will our children or our future generation will be able to develop themselves? We cannot say that this is true. There may be many problems ahead. Let us understand this is through the example, following example. Example 1, groundwater in India. Recent evidence suggests that the groundwater is under serious threat of overuse in many parts of the country. Water is wasted, everybody knows this. About 300 districts have reported a water level decline of over 4 meters during the past 20 years. The ground level water has decreased in 300 districts, almost 4 meters gone down. Nearly one third of the country is overusing the groundwater reserves, and wastage is there, unnecessary use is there of the groundwater reserves. In another 25 years, as per this rate, in another 25 years, 60% of the country would be doing the same if the present way of using the resource continues. So 60% of the country would lose 4 meters below the ground level water. So the water level might go down if the same thing continues. Groundwater overuse is particularly found in the agriculturally prosperous regions of Punjab and western UP, hard rock plateau areas of central and south India, some coastal areas, and the rapidly growing urban settlements. So in these regions or the areas mentioned above, groundwater is overused, we can say. Questions are given: why groundwater is overused? Second, can there be development without overuse? You have to answer these questions according to your understanding. Then, groundwater is an example of renewable resources. Yes, it is a renewable resource. Water can be refilled by rains, etc. These resources are replenished by nature, as in the case of crops and plants. Crops grow, plants grow. In the same way, water also, water cycle is going on. Water comes down in the form of rain and fulfills the need. However, even these resources may be overused. So plants, crops, they might be also overused. For example, in the case of groundwater, if we use more than what is being replenished by rain, suppose what rain is giving to earth in the form of water, we are overusing or using more than that, then we are decreasing the water level. We would be overusing this resource. Non-renewable resources are those which will get exhausted after years of use. Non-renewable resources means they are non-renewable, means the stock is going to be over in few years, after some years. We have a fixed stock on earth which cannot be replenished. Minerals, we can say, fossil fuels, they cannot be replenished, they take millions of years to replenish. We do discover new resources that we do not know of earlier. That is why newer resources, suppose in gas petrol was used, then now CNG is used, compressed natural gas is used, which is available and can be replenished easily. New sources, electric vehicles are there nowadays to save fuel. New solar energy is used instead of electricity. Likewise, you can see many new developments have come up because of non-renewable resources. New sources in this way add to the stock. However, over time, even this will get exhausted. As per the rate which it is used today, even this will get exhausted. For example, crude oil. I told you oil, diesel, petrol, kerosene that we extract from the earth is a non-renewable resource. It cannot be renewed. However, we may find a source of oil that we did not know of earlier. Explorations are being undertaken all the time. Solar energy, I told you CNG is used nowadays as an option to the crude oil. Example 2, exhaustion means getting over of natural resources. Region, country, reserves and number of years reserves will last. It is crude oil reserves. કાચું તેલ આપણે જેને કહીએ. Middle East 808,000 million barrels reserves 2017 and it will last up to 70 years. United States of America 50,000 million barrels and it will last up to 10.5 years. The world overall 1697,000 million barrels and the reserves will last for 50 years. The fuel will last for 50 years. The whole world has fuel for only 50 years, we can say. The table gives an estimate of reserves of crude oil. Column 1, more important, it also tells us for how many years the stock of crude oil will last if people continue to extract it at the present rate. Much use of the crude oil is there. The reserves would last only 50 years now. So you can see CNG vehicles are there, electric vehicles are there nowadays to save fuel. This is for the world as a whole. However, different countries face different situations. Countries like India depend on importing oil from abroad because they do not have enough stocks of their own. Vehicles are more, oil is less. So we are always importing oil. If prices of oil increase, this becomes a burden for everyone. Whenever there is some ups or downs in international economy, you know the price of petrol and diesel tend to rise. There are countries like USA which have low reserves and hence want to secure oil through military or economic power. You know the attack of America on Iraq and in the Gulf countries. It is dominating or having monopoly. Why? One reason is behind that crude oil is there. Oil reserves are there in the Gulf or Middle East countries. So there is always a fight to stay there. America is having war with many of them. Question of sustainability of development raises many fundamentally new issues about the nature and process of development. Which are the questions or which are the difficulties we are going to face, troubles? Is crude oil essential for the development process in a country? Discuss. Is crude oil essential for developmental process? Discuss. Second, India has to import crude oil. What problems do you anticipate for the country looking at the above situation? Now, keeping the above things in mind, which problems India is going to face? Anticipate means you have to assume. Consequences of environmental degradation means going down the level, do not respect national or state boundaries. Global, we are talking about global things. Oil, it is for global use. Water, that is global trouble, global warming, it is a global problem. So we are not talking about particular nation or region or state or boundaries. This issue is no longer region or nation specific. Today we are facing this pandemic, coronavirus COVID-19. It is not limited to a particular region, it has spread all over the world. So all have to look after it. It is a global problem. Our future is linked together. We are living on the earth and we are attached to one another today globally. So every problem which earth is facing, it is a global problem. It is problem for all the people living in this world. Sustainability of development. So staying of the resources or continuation of the resources, availability of the resources for the future is compared to a new area of knowledge. This was not thought before. Everybody was using in the way they wanted, but now they know that these resources are limited and they should be there for the future generations. So this topic of sustainability, now it is very important, in which scientists, economists, philosophers and other social scientists are working together. How to sustain these things, how to keep this thing safe for the future generations, these things are thought of today in very much all over the world. In general, the question of development or progress is perennial. Perennial means it is durable, or it is going for lasting for many years. Development or progress is not limited to certain period. It goes on and on. Perennial, this term you might have known in geography. Perennial rivers, that the rivers which flow continuously, which do not dry up. So continuous, we can say perennial means continuous, or it should continue for long. At all times, as a member of society and as individuals, we need to ask where we want to go. This question should be asked by each and everyone to himself or herself globally. Where we want to go, what we wish to become, and what are our goals. So the debate on development continues. How should be the development and how it should be sustained? This debate goes on and on. Exercise is given. Development of a country can generally be determined by MCQs are there. Which one of the following neighboring countries has better performance in terms of human development than India? Third, assume there are 4 families in a country. The average per capita income of these families is rupees 5,000. If the income of 3 families is rupees 4,000, 7,000 and 3,000 respectively, what is the income of the 4th family? Now some questions are there. What is the main criterion used by the World Bank in classifying different countries? What are the limitations of this criterion, if any? Next, in what respects is the criterion used by the UNDP for measuring development different from the one used by the World Bank? Next, why do we use averages? Are there any limitations to their use? Illustrate with your own examples related to development. Next, Kerala with low per capita income has a better human development ranking than Haryana. Hence, per capita income is not a useful criterion at all and should not be used to compare states. Do you agree? And also discuss. Find out the present sources of energy that are used by the people in India. I already told you solar energy, electrical energy is used. What could be CNG is used? What could be the other possibilities 50 years from now? Last is, why is the issue of sustainability important for development? So this brings to the end of our chapter 1 in economics. Please do the questions and write it down and try to prepare objectives of your own as I have told you earlier. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care.